everyone interested in investing in AI, please welcome Luis E. Cortes. He's also, as we introduced him this earlier today, the owner and runner and champion of the MyEO AI group, also has the WhatsApp group. Make sure you join it. Luis, welcome back.
Thank you, everyone. Can you hear me well?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely clear and loud.
Nice.
So yeah, enlighten us. What do we need to look at? What do we need to respect if we want to invest in AI? Over to you.
Yep. Well, thanks very much. This has been an amazing event. I've learned so much. And in the next, I'll try to do it in 15 minutes so we don't take up a lot of time, 12, 15 minutes. I want to share experiences about investing in AI and also put some context, some data about the market and how it is structured. So yeah, my name is Luis Cortes. I'm a co-founder and general partner at B Combinator. I'll talk about that a little bit later. I'm a champion of the MyEO AI group, and I am also a member of the American Angel Capital Association. So I do business angel investment as well. And yeah, quick disclaimer, you'll get the slides, so don't worry about this. It's just, whatever I say, you don't do anything with it other than learning. That's basically the thing. And the agenda for today is 3 things. Why now? Where are we having this conversation now? Which are 3 ways and 3 strategies to invest in artificial intelligence, and a little bit about adoption in EO. And as we progress, I'm going to share both prompts and images. So for every image that I generated here, you could see the prompt down there, so you can play with that if you want at any point. And, when I look to invest in companies with my other general partners in B Combinator, right? There's a question that I always ask, and it's critical to me, which is why now, right? Artificial intelligence has been there for at least 20 years, if not more. We have been investing in AI for over 20 years now, right? Me and my partners. We have it on our phones, we have it on our cars drive themselves, we have it in all sorts of systems to detect fraud, etc. So the reason about the why now, and the reason which I like this question, and I took it from Sequoia Capital pitch template, right, is that it gives you a very sharp moment of urgency of need, which is exactly what you want when you're an entrepreneur, right? And that moment has come in the last few months with all the large language models, like simplified by ChatGPT. Of course, we have talked a lot about this today, so I want to dip into that. But basically, the great merit of OpenAI and launching ChatGPT has been that it has made it convenient and approachable to people. So hundreds of millions of people are adopting it. And the cool thing is that it's becoming a platform in itself. So in the same way that when mobility was launched, that became a platform for success in applications and market growth, right? When internet was launched, it became a platform, right? So again, generative AI specifically is becoming very, very fast a platform. And that's going to allow the creation of new business models and new investment opportunities, which is exactly what I want to talk about today, right? So I look at it from a perspective of there's like 3 ways or 3 strategies that you can use, right? One is you can get yourself exposed to AI very, very easily, right? If you're in Europe, you may be a bit more difficult because there's less AI companies in the public European markets, or you may not get access to US markets, right? But you need to check that with your broker. So there's individual stocks out there that you can buy to just get yourself exposed, right? So in this case, I guess, so I don't have any bias about anything of this. I just went to ChatGPT and asked the thing, right, to give me a list of 10 companies that invest in AI. So these would be the tickers. You want to get exposed to AI, you look into these companies, how well they're doing, how strong their technology is, et cetera, and then you can just get exposure to AI. Second way is a similar way, but it's via ETFs. So there's a number of ETFs that focus on AI, robotics, etc. This is an example of this that I used to for an article. By the way, every source I use for this deck is included in the annex. You will have that as well. So this will be a second way. My personal favorite from Incubator is private companies, and the third one that I will disclose in just a second, right? Some of you are probably business angels. Some may even be limited partners in venture capital funds, and some of you may be directly investors, strategic investors in some companies out there, right? So I'm not going to get into how to be a good business angel, how to invest, etc., how LPs work, etc. That's the purpose for another conversation. But specifically in private AI investment, which is exactly what we do in B Combinator, right? There's 4 critical things that we look at. And not necessarily in this order, by the way. One area has to do with technology and innovation, right? So is the company using technologies? Are they being innovative? Are they solving real world problems? And specifically, if they are training models, right? How are they doing that? Are they creating their own technology? How are they building their models? And very critical, what is the source for data training? So, because your model is going to be as good as the information that you use to train that model, right? In the case of LLMs, like ChatGPT, they come pre-trained. So you may add your information in addition, and it will give you an extra control and extra capability on that, right? But in the case of companies that are using their own data sets, or companies that are using their customers with their data sets, right? The quality of the data is absolutely critical. And that's something that you need to take a look into, because almost is more important the data that you're feeding into the models than the model themselves. Then it's a market opportunity. And here is my second key question here, which is, are you a solution in search of a problem? Are the customers real? Are the startups that you're looking to invest in solving real problems, or are just solutions in search of problems? That's going to be a critical aspect here too. Third one, of course, is the team leadership. Have they done it before? Do they understand what they're getting into? Are they ruthless executors, right? And very, very importantly for AI is, do they have access to top talent? Because one of the critical resources, probably the most critical resource, is talent. Data scientists, prompt engineers, as they are increasingly being called, specialized developers in AI frameworks, are expensive, are scarce, and are one of the critical talent that you need to hire in the company. So the way in which they are attracting that talent is critical here. And last is the business model, right? And for me, is first is, do you understand? I mean, in my case, do I understand what they're trying to do? Do I understand how they make money? Do I understand how they want to invest and grow? And is there, very critical here as well, is there a virality component here, especially around things like product growth, PLG? The virality component can be the make or break of many startups. So these are some things that you may want to take a look at when you're considering investing in AI. In terms of private investment, these are some data that Stanford in their artificial intelligence index report published about private investment. We have been talking about that in the past. I won't get a lot into this, but there's lots of money out there for investing. Your money, of course, if you want to add to that pool, is going to be interesting as well. But again, there's so much money that at the end of the day, it's not about the resources, it's about the teams and the startups that are doing that. Now, some of you may also be thinking, okay, I want to launch a startup. I need money to run my startup. Well, again, I went to ChatGPT and I asked, right? So this is just a sample of some of the VC investors that are investing in AI. Take a look at it. Also, don't take it at face value. Sometimes I've noticed that in some of these charts, ChatGPT will put information that is not precise, but it gives you an idea and gives you some names to get started. So there's increasingly VCs are getting specialized even into areas of AI, like healthcare AI, for instance, right? So that's a way of to go about it. Now, what's our experience in becoming Combinator about investing in AI? We call ourselves entrepreneurs helping entrepreneurs, and we have started up, we have failed, we have exited, and we have invested in AI companies for 20 years. So companies like Isoko or Strands, for instance, or Polymita that we found successful exits out there, and we learned. We keep doing our fair share of mistakes, of course, because no one is perfect, but that gave us a little bit of a good approach into what it takes to actually build this type of companies. So we have our own co-working space by the beach in Barcelona. We have incubation and growth programs. We also have our own VC fund, and we're launching a new fund next year. So just to give you some information here. So 86% of our companies are using generative AI in their processes. So probably most of them at some point. And what they're looking into is basically three things, right? Which is cost reduction, reduce time to market, and productivity. They want to create new content. They want to make sure that customers are understanding what they're doing. They want to be more productive with their marketing approach, with everything that Scott actually was mentioning before. So probably soon, 100% of them will be perfectly ready here. And in terms of our portfolio, we currently have out of around 30 investments. 7 of those are AI companies. All but one are creating their own AI technology and designing and training their own ML models. And we started investing here with this fund in 2019. One is based exclusively in generative AI based. That's the last investment that we have made. And it's been very interesting how they are creating processes based on generative AI. So they are not as much creating AI or training models, but actually building business models on top of AI generative, right? In this case, ChatGPT. So it's very interesting how it's not as much about a technical play, but about a business play that actually is looking to solve real business problems. We're happy to see also that valuation for 3 of these companies has tripled in the last 12 months. So there's a lot of interest in this area. And they have basically 2 big challenges. One is recruitment. Again, as I was mentioning before, it's a hard type of people to find out, like the profiles that you need to build AI. So we try to find out with a brand, with culture, with values, and of course with incentives for people, and being close to places like universities where you can recruit all that talent. And the other is to manage growth. Some of these companies are growing very, very fast. So the way in which they scale up and how they establish processes to manage that growth is absolutely critical here. And last but not least, my favorite way of investing in AI is investing in your own company, right? We have been talking about that all day long, but basically there's data that proves that across all activities in your company, there's a big potential for cost reductions. There's a big potential for revenue increase just using AI and generative AI in your processes. And these processes go across the board, from lowering costs, for improved decision-making, for increasing revenue. I don't know if anybody has made any detailed study into the return of investment in this type of applications of artificial intelligence, specifically LLMs. I'm sure it's big hundreds percent, if not thousands percent. We're going to probably see some data about that in the coming months and quarters. Last thing about AI is the risks, right? So we've talked about risks today as well. Liability, the source of your training data, as I was mentioning before, not to mention, of course, that AI is too good to even replace us humans, and we run into caves back again, but that's a different story, of course. And I wanted also to touch very quickly on how EO as a group of entrepreneurs, we're adopting EO, right? So actually, we are running a poll into the MyEO AI groups, and you can click here and join that poll. And actually, you can see that 40% of respondents are using AI in their business. And very interestingly, almost a quarter of the companies that in EO that have answered, they are either developing AI software or embedding AI software in their offerings. So basically what we're saying here is that these people are building new sources of revenue. 1 out of every 4 entrepreneurs in EO that have answered this from our community, 1 out of every 4 are actually using AI as a core component of the business, right? So keep thinking about how you can do that in order to grow up. One way to do that would be to join us tomorrow. We have an event where actually you just heard Scott and Pringham. Scott, we have Scott tomorrow again, right? And he's going to talk to us about how he actually built his AI business. So you don't want to miss that. If you liked his content, tomorrow is going to be even better. And I really hope you there. Yes, if you want to snap that QR code, that's how you register, or you go to Connect and look for the MyEO AI community, and you will be registered there. These are the references. I'm seeing you're going to have the slides. If not, take a good look at the video, and you can use that. And that's, I wanted to make it short because this has been a long day for everybody, but I'm happy to take questions if there's any.
Wonderful. Thank you, Luis. We are actually in minute 335 of this live webinar, and we have 25 minutes to go. But we are still fresh because we're AI generated, right, Robert? That's what we are. We're just generated by AI. This entire thing is a deep fake, didn't you?
It's entirely fake.
But Luis, I'm already pulling out my credit card, and I want to invest in AI now. Yeah, but you said like valuations tripled in the last 12 months. That sounds great. What trades, given that I'm an investor, additionally do I need if I want to invest in AI companies? Do I need to understand the tech? Do I need any other trades to invest in AI companies versus other companies, regular companies?
So I would say, I'm a great admirer of Warren Buffett, and he says that you should only invest in companies that you understand, right? So I would encourage people to try to understand what the company they're trying to invest actually does, right? So I walk away from investments that I just don't understand, for instance, right? So we don't do, for instance, we don't do bio, right? We're just not smart enough. It's just not a thing, right? So even if there was bio with AI, I don't know if I may looked at it, but it's just beyond our pay grade, if you will. So I would say first, please understand very well what you are getting into. Try to understand the business model. And second thing is balance your portfolio. So if you're not familiar with AI and you have a portfolio of whatever, take maybe 5% or 2% or 10%, nothing very significant to start investing in AI if you want to do that. So, if you're not successful, at least you're not busting the house, if you will. So, take it one step at a time.
And if you look at the risk, there's always risk when you invest in companies who focus on tech, right? There's always this risk of the tech failing. Is there a difference in the risk levels of, let's say, old school tech companies prior to 2023 and companies today? Is it a different risk portfolio in terms of the, tech component in it? Or is it basically there's a tech risk and that's it and it's comparable?
I think so what's happening specifically with AI is what's going on in the late 90s and early 2000s for the internet, right? It's this explosion, this Cambrian explosion where you have hundreds and thousands of companies that are coming up, right? So once the dust settles, we're gonna see which are the real jewels, right? So I think at this point, yeah, I always tell my entrepreneurs when becoming leader, at this precise moment, there's at least 100 teams around the planet talking exactly about this same idea. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. There's so many entrepreneurs out there. There's at least 100 people like you and I talking about whatever thing you're trying to set up. Why is it gonna be you? And I think that I would like to leave it there.
Yeah. Final last sentence. We are asking every single one of our speakers as a take-home value for our crowd. One sentence from you, Luis. What would it be?
I think in terms of investing and AI, the word that comes to mind is experiment and learn. So experimenting with AI is cheap. It's not expensive. You can invest in it as a business angel with relatively small amounts of money. So, go out, find a few companies, join an angel network, do a little experiments, don't bust the house, learn about it, and you're going to have a lot of time to invest in the real jewels.
That's a wonderful last sentence because test and experience, that's what our accelerators have been doing for the last basically 5 hours, 40 minutes. Luis, thank you. Please, everyone, join the webinar with Luis tomorrow. Scott will be there again, our beloved Scott. It will be awesome, I can imagine. We're one AI community, and that's why we're promoting this cross events. We need to stick together because we're all entrepreneurs. We're one community, and that's what EO is all about. Thank you, Luis. See you soon.
Thank you. Bye.